Hey guys, it's Adam aka Swimming and welcome back for another amplified survival story in Minecraft 1.7. We are in this nice cliff here that's a roofed forest, and it's beautiful. I think this is going to be where I make my home. And last time we heard the story of Sven, the White Enderman, who basically shaped the entirety of Minecraft. Today we're going to have a new story, but first off I wanted to thank you guys. The last video, which has only been up for a short while, already has 767 comments as I'm recording this, and that is about double some of the other survival stories. So you guys have been posting a ton of suggestions, and it's been awesome, so thank you very much. So the one that is the most popular right now is this one by Uberben's30 movie. Uberben's30 movie, sorry. And it sounds like dirty movie. I see what you're trying to do, Uberben. It is a zombie who loves villagers and can't hurt anyone. So that is going to be what today's story is about. And I'm running around too much. I need to eat some pork chops. So today I'm basically going to try to work on clearing a lot of this out and starting my house, because I'm going to have a nice place up here, hopefully. So let's get going. As the sun goes down, it's going to make it a little dangerous for us. So this is the story of Harold. And Harold was actually a baby villager. He kind of got along well with the normal villagers. He wouldn't really play games of tag with them, but he did enjoy life in the village. He would wander around, do all the villager routines. He would walk around aimlessly. He would open and close doors when he was told to by his parents and stuff like that. He heard that a few of the villagers would go behind the blacksmith and make hearts, but he was like, I'm not old enough for that. I'm just an innocent little baby villager. And everything was fine, and life in the village was peaceful, until one day, the fire zombies attacked. Well, the normal zombies mainly, but some of them were on fire. And one day, some of them started to come out of the caves and light on fire. They went around, and they attacked all the villagers, and before Harold even knew what happened, the village had been wiped out, basically. And, whoa, he said, what is going on here? This is scary. And Harold basically didn't know what to do. He woke up, and he was like, what is going on? I can't cross my arms. He got super scared, because crossing his arms is like, that's like a comforting thing for villagers. And he couldn't cross his arms, so he was very concerned about what was happening. And he looked down and he saw that his skin was green, and that he didn't have his normal brown clothes on. It had been placed with like a cyan and blue ensemble that was kind of weird looking. And he was very saddened by what had happened, and he didn't know what to do. So confused, he was like, okay, I'm gonna head over to the next village and see what's going on. Where was our iron golem during this? He was very outraged that the iron golem hadn't protected his friends and family. So he decided to head over to the next village, and when he got there, it was already night. He found that he was super fast, though. Like, he knew he was fast as a baby villager, because most baby villagers are very quick to sprint around, but he found that he was able to make it to the next village in a super quick time, and he was like, whoa, this is crazy. Sometimes he would pick up things that he found along the way, and he was like, I could never do that before. What is going on? He was too young to have learned the ways of the zombie, so he had no idea what was going on. But he got to the next village, and he said, hey guys, what's going on? He tried to talk to them, but all that came out was... And he was very confused by that. He tried to approach one of them, and the villagers were all like... But basically they were just saying, like, stay away, what's going on, what are you doing? And they were very confused as well. And he tried to run up and hug one of the villagers that he knew and loved from this other village, but he accidentally bit them, even though he said he couldn't hurt anyone in his life. He hurt one person. He accidentally bit them. And then the villager said, ah, and screamed out. And their village's iron golem, who was, a lot more productive, he actually did the rounds, whereas Harold's iron golem from his village was very lazy. He would go out for, like, Slurpees and stuff all the time. So the iron golem of this village went and hit Harold in the face, and Harold was like, oh, what the heck? This hurts. I've never been attacked before by anything, except for yesterday. But Harold was injured, and he let out a scream. And then from behind the village, he heard zombies. Zombies started to come out of the woodwork. His scream had summoned a whole squad of them, a horde, a siege, and they all started to come out of the woodwork and attack the village. And Harold was like, uh-oh, what did I do? Oopsie. So Harold's like, I'm getting out of here. So he ran and ran, and the last of that village that he saw, he was confused. So he found another village, and he was like, okay, there's an empty house at the edge of the village. Everyone lives in one house, so I guess I can use this. And he was like, maybe if I just go in this house and go to sleep in this new village, they'll be okay with me, and they you know, they'll let me live here. So he tried to open the door, and he found that he couldn't open the door, despite actually having hands that could do stuff. He was very confused. He couldn't open the door, and he banged on it, and he banged, and the villagers were all woken by this, and they were scared. And eventually he broke open the door and came inside to find a dirt floor with a single flower planted there, and he was like, what's going on with this house? But anyways, the Iron Golem was alerted to his banging and came after him, so he was like, I gotta leave this village too. Crap. So he left, and he kept traveling and traveling, and he was very sad because he didn't know where he would go or who he would live with. It seemed like no one wanted him around. But one day, he found someone who was very kind-hearted, someone who dressed just like he did now. His name was Steve. And Harold went up to him and was afraid because Steve held a sword in his hand, a sword made of diamond, a very scary tool. But Steve was actually kind. He said, hey, little guy, what's your name? And Harold tried to say his name, but the best he could come out with was... But Steve actually understood him. He was like, oh, Harold, okay. So Steve plopped down an anvil, and before he knew it, Harold had a name tag in his hand, and well, he saw it in Steve's hands, and Steve rubbed it on Harold's face, and Harold was like, what the heck, this is weird. But then he groaned with delight as the name tag shown Harold above his head, and he was like, oh, somebody appreciates me, and somebody knows my name now. And little Steve said, hey, now buddy, now you won't have to worry about despawning like some of your monster friends. And Harold was like, yes, this is so cool. I'm having so much fun now that I met my new friend that looks like me. And Steve said, hey, you want to come with me, and I'll show you my base. I've been working on it a while. And Harold said, all right, or however you would say that in zombie speak. And he decided to travel with Steve. And they traveled for a while, and eventually they found Steve's base. And Harold he was a little confused because he couldn't tell how to get in. But Steve was like, here, there's like a redstone lever here. I'll hit that. You just stand here on these minecart tracks. And Harold was like, okay. So Steve hit a lever, a door opened up, and Steve went inside that way. But then Harold was basically picked up by a minecart that came by and was like, whoa! And at first he was scared, but then he was like, this is actually pretty fun when he got to think about it. And he had a bit of fun riding the minecart into Steve's base. He rode and rode for a bit, and it went up and down and through loops, and, well, not loops, but that would be pretty cool if you're listening to Notch or Jeb. Not Notch, he doesn't, yeah. Anyways, so Harold went through, and eventually he flew through an opening and landed in a weird room, and he was like, this is strange, what's going on here? And when he got out of the minecart, he found that he was stuck in a room of glass and iron bars. And Harold was like, ruh-roh, this is not good. So he tried to figure out what was going on. And a few minutes later, Steve came into the room. And then a bunch of other Steves, all of different coats and colors and different things. And Harold was very confused yet again. He didn't know what the heck was happening here. So he saw them all. They shifted, they kind of ducked around, they jumped in circles, they crossed their swords, they danced and had much merrymaking and happiness. And Harold was like, oh, they must be happy to see me. But before long, he realized he was trapped. And in the next cell over in this weird makeshift zoo was a cow. And the cow approached Harold's bars, and Harold was like, at least I have a friend, even if they can't talk to me. And he was sad about it, but it was at least nice. Harold was an upbeat kind of guy despite his misfortunes. So he said, hey, little cow, and then he noticed the name floating above the cow. It said Bessie, and he said, hey, Bessie, and I guess I'm going to be your friend now. And then Bessie said, man, don't call me Bessie, my name's Dave. And Harold was like, what the heck, Dave? It says Bessie. And Dave was like, dude, they didn't even ask me what my name was. They just kind of named me and stuck me in here. And now you're trapped with me, so how's it going? My name's Dave. So Harold was like, hey, Dave, how's it going, I guess? Let's get to know each other. And Dave said, shh, hey, buddy, don't tell nobody, but I'm going to break out of here. I've been working on it for a really long time. And Dave was a bull and not a cow, despite his udders, and he was very sick of the Steves all staring at him day in and day out and gawking at his manliness, his udders. So he was like, all right, man, I've been working on this. I've been banging my horns into the iron bars, and eventually I'm gonna break through. So he's like, I'm gonna get working on that. You keep lookout, because that's why I haven't had much progress. I haven't been able to have a lookout yet. So Harold was lookout while Dave broke through, and eventually he kept pounding and pounding, and he did get through. And then Harold said, yeah, and Dave said, moo, and they were so happy until they realized that Dave had just basically broken his way into Harold's cell. And they were like, crap, now we're going to be, well, at least we're together in here. And Dave and Harold had much merriment, and they hung out for a while, and things were cool. But then they kept working, and they were like, all right, we're going to get out of this cell now. So they worked, and after a long time, they broke out of there, and they managed to escape the base with Steves in hot pursuit. And they were like, yes, this is going to be cool, this is going to be sweet. Maybe we could get a record if we're lucky, but I don't know about that. No, I don't want people, messing up my stuff, so I'm not gonna tempt that. Oh god. And Harold and Dave decided to keep traveling, and they're like, let's find a place where we can be free, where we can have a good time and not worry about anything. So Dave actually was like, man, I'm so sick of living out in the world. People can just come up to you at any time and hit you and kill you and steal your leather. And Harold's like, yeah, I know what that's like, man, I guess. So they decided, we're going to head to the Nether. I've heard about this place, and from the Steves, they talk about it all the time. And they decided to find a portal, which they did pretty quickly to keep the story moving along. And they went inside the portal, and they had to be careful because it's very dangerous in there. And they actually succeeded. They got through the portal, and the monsters didn't kill them. And they were very scared. And look how beautiful that is, they said as they looked over. And beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So they found the Nether beautiful. But they went through and they were like, hey, who are these guys? They sound like zombies, kinda, but they're also pigs. And Harold talked to the zombie pigmen, and they were like, yeah, we don't like fighting either, man. We're just kind of peaceful, and we like to hang out and, have parties and do all that kind of stuff. So he was like, okay, I think this is where we can live, Dave. And Dave was like, all right, man, it's cool with me. So they decided that they would live there in the land of the zombie pigmen. And Harold was very pleased with this. He said, this is where we're gonna live. And Dave, gave the zombie pigmen milk, which they'd never tasted before, and they were very happy about that. And Harold, who had had such a tumultuous youth and saw all of his friends pass away, now had a happy life with Dave the cow. And that is the story of the zombie villager who couldn't hurt anybody. The zombie who loves villagers. Okay, so thank you to UberBen's 30 movie for suggesting that. Please leave a that was cool, the arrow disappeared right when I guarded. Please leave a suggestion about what story you guys want to see, and it might be in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching, and go through, if you do have time, please go through and look at some other people's suggestions and just like the one that you want to see, because it definitely helps. So far it's been like a couple of them have had runaway victories, and I'd like to see more of a fierce competition between these story ideas. So anyways, though, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you did enjoy this, and I'll see you next time for more Minecraft Survival Story. Goodbye.